Jedi Survivor on the ROG Ally is just absolutely hilarious to play, and it's actually playing a lot better than we expected. You will need to make a few tweaks, but you can get this running at over 30 frames per second solid, and you can even run medium settings if you are plugged in. But before we dive into the fun stuff, I have a warning. If you have increased your GPU RAM to 8GB, the likelihood is the load times on this will be absolutely horrendous, and when you go and open the map, it will crash. If you are seeing really long load times and this error when you open up the map, then you need to go and change your GPU settings back down to 4GB or auto. I've been using 4GB again, and it's been running much better for most of the EA Play games, so bear this in mind that if you've increased this to 8GB, put it back down to 4GB before trying Survivor. Okay, before we go into some of the other settings, let's see this running at 30 watts at 1080p. You'll notice that we are only just about holding 30 frames per second here at 1080. It is quite a draw on this one. At the low quality settings here with the AMD FSR 2 on quality, even stood still, we're only holding around the 30 frames per second mark, and when we get into battles, it does get a little bit janky. For the most part, it does stay over 30, but we do still get some big dips. Especially running into new areas, we do see that dipping into the mid-20s, which makes combat a little bit more difficult, as parrying and dodging is extremely important in this game. So running this at 1080, even on low with 30 watts, is a bit of a struggle. As you'll see, as we drop this down to 720, you will have to go into the game options and reduce the resolution in game as well. For some reason, this doesn't auto change even in full screen or borderless mode, so be aware that you will need to change that. At 720 though, we are holding over 40 frames per second most of the time on those low settings and getting an absolute great time. What I did find surprising though is we can actually boost this up to medium and get the same results pretty much. It does dip a little bit lower occasionally, however it looks so much better. So if we bump this up to medium, keeping that FSR 2 quality, as I'm sure there's a bug in Survivor anyway, that if you change that FSR 2 off, it actually looks worse. In performance mode, it can't hold above 30 with those medium settings, but if we put it back up to the 30 watts, then at 720 with medium settings and FSR 2 quality, we actually get a pretty good experience. Over 30 frames per second all of the time, and mostly over 40 frames per second as well. So these are my recommended settings for Survivor on Ally if you want to stay plugged in. If you do want to run this on battery, then you do need to drop it down to the low settings at that 720 with FSR 2 on balance to keep that 30 frames per second most of the time. However, I do advise that you want this one plugged in, as you are going to want those extra frames as well as the quality. You're going to be playing this one for a longer than an hour stint generally anyway. Let us know in the comments below if you are diving into this one or whether you are having launch issues, as some are reporting. This was running the Steam version, as I said, with that 4GB GPU settings, so let us know if you're having issues with the EA Play directly. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.